It's the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. Brad the Big Noise Evans here, joined by the good son, Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed the Fade 5 Podcast. My head is spinning right now because there is so much stinking action, whether you're looking at the extraordinary college basketball slate on a Friday, the weekend slate for college football, NFL Week 10, NBA, NHL. It's the perfect confluence of sports betting availability right now at whatever book you would get some of that action on. So let's first go the junior gridiron and try to make some college cash. Eyeing the junior circuit, Lundy. What action most triggers the salivary glands for you this Saturday?
Pew, 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 pew. That's what's going to happen tonight in college football. So let's get a bet on the board that you don't have to wait until tomorrow for. We've got North Texas and SMU playing against North Texas. We've also got Wyoming on the road taking on UNLV. And I think points are going to be falling from the sky like pennies from heaven between both of these games. Now, I will tell you, I actually like the over in both of these games on the standard line, okay? But what do we do here? We try to find ourselves some value, and we keep it on the plus side of the street. So if I pull both totals down by 5 points apiece, so take North Texas and SMU down to 61.5 and take the over. Then take Wyoming and UNLV and pull that one down from 50.5 to 45.5. If you put that together at DraftKings this morning, that's a plus 122, which should be nice and tasty. North Texas and SMU, I got to be honest with you. I actually looked at what the odds were if I went ahead and played it actually up and then still took the over between these two. Like I went up to 69.5. Nice. And got some positive odds, but I was like, don't get greedy, Lundy, bring it down. So like I said, it's basically a 5-point teaser down on both of the totals, then play the over in each one of them. Wyoming and UNLV, if you go look at their history, North Texas and SMU, it's just because I think defense is going to be optional. I mean, folks, the standard line is 66.5 for crying out loud. But when you look at Wyoming and UNLV here over the course of the season, Wyo has scored at least 22 points in 7 out of their 9 games. UNLV has scored at least 24 in 8 of their 9 games. So both of these teams offensively can get it done. I don't trust either one of the defenses to be able to keep the opponent out of the end zone. So put all of that together. And I think the idea of the 50.5 is a piece of cake. But if I can 5-point teaser it, I will. So again, pull each one of them down by 5, play the over, DK plus 122.
Yeah, loving that action there. Hopefully going to get off on the right foot with all the weekend action and score a winner chicken dinner with what Lundy is offering there. Let's go to the marquee behemoth matchup in the Big Ten. And I'm going to SGP this, bad boy. I'm going to take Penn State up to plus 10.5 against the University of Michigan. And I'm going to take the under on 50.5 and the juice as a result. Plus 105 there at BetMGM. Obviously Michigan is mired in controversy right now with the sign-stealing controversy that is really plaguing that entire school. We'll see what the Big Ten does, but the action on the field, really these two teams, I think, are mirror images of one another, especially on the defensive end, and I have some of the advanced metrics to back it up. You look at the EPA data that is out there, and the Nittany Lions are number 6 in the country in EPA per play defense. Michigan slightly better at number 5. Yeah, Michigan, I think, has the advantage offensively, and especially the quarterback. Take McCarthy all day over Drew Aller in this one-on-one situation. But I think Penn State is going to, keep this one nice and snug. I think they're going to really step up defensively. And I know they're just number 19 in EPA per play offense, and Michigan is number 7 in that category. But this is probably going to be like the first to 20 wins. Pit at the stomach, the gut is saying like 20-16. Michigan will be the final. Look, it's going to be a raucous, it's going to be a rowdy environment there at Beaver Stadium. 100,000 in full throat out from start to finish. A whiteout is going to be, front and center. So I believe Penn State will be competitive. A lot of my colleagues on Live Line vehemently disagreed with me on that. But on this SGP, give me Penn State plus 10.5. And give me the under on that all total of 50.5. You put those two together, plus 105 at BetMGM. With those bets on the board, let's get after it with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
Numero 5 here on the countdown today. And oh my goodness gracious, is the slate in college basketball on a Friday night spectacular. It is absolutely stellar. It's like a mid-February slate, but on a Friday. Normally you would see that action on a Saturday, but basketball really taking advantage of the light sports day because college football reigns supreme on the junior circuit on Saturday. So they're playing everybody on Fridays, and some of these matchups are absolutely alluring. And one of them is being played in Provo, Utah, between BYU and San Diego State. Got to go to ESPN Plus to watch this bad boy. And if you're going to watch it, it's going to take your breath away because both teams are going to work up a lather. That's why I'm taking the over a 145 in this game, minus 110 juice, available there at DraftKings. And it's really simple of why I'm taking the over. BYU loves to push a pace. They were number 65 at adjusted tempo last year at KenPom.com. And they're already a team that got off to a stirring start in their first game against Houston Christian. They put up 110 points, had a boatload of possessions in that game. They had 5 different dudes that scored in double figures, netting 1.36 points per possession. So zip, 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 zip. That's what BYU loves to do. And you might say, well, Brad, San Diego State, more a half-court oriented team. They like to slow it down, apply the break, but they will run with some of their opponents, and it was proven in the pudding last year when these two teams met. And SoCal was an 82-75 finish. That's 157, well north of the 145 needed to hit the total here. Well, that would be a push. I need 146 for a win. But San Diego State, I know they were number 262 in adjusted tempo a season ago, but I think they will try to put pedal to the metal and keep pace with BYU, who is at home, and they will definitely, I think, seize the upper hand in the style of play in this game. So to recap, San Diego State, BYU, give me the over 145, minus 110 juice at DraftKings. Lundy, gonna slam this one home with me? Fade or follow?
I don't know anything you just said. No, folks, I talked about it earlier this week. Early season college basketball, until I start to absorb some information, that's this guy's world. Okay.
I love it.
It's not like it's me in hockey. It's him in college basketball. That's the reason, folks, if you want to get into the psychology here, it's the reason why this podcast works. Okay. Because much like a marriage, we have figured out what each one of us is good at, and we try to stay out of each other's lanes whenever we possibly can. So I try to leave the college basketball to Brad until we get into like holiday tournament time. Because then when I got dudes in like the Bahamas shorts, right? We're at the Atlantis Resort. Chances are the head coach is a little hungover, right? I mean, few too many Mai Tais. Now we're talking college basketball in my world. But up until then, I got to retrain myself on mascots. I got to remember what city these dudes play in, stuff like that. So I'm going to leave the college hoops to Brad. If he tells you that this is tasty and you should play the over, F it, play the over.
Yeah, I think points are really going to pile up in Provo, unlike the adult beverages, which are not allowed.
Number 4.
Numero 4 here on the Fade 5. Let's go to NFL Week 10 action at a player props market. And it's me. It's Tommy DeVito. University of Illinois' own. I cannot believe he is starting in the National Football League. But that's how desperate the New York Giants are, given the injuries they have had at the quarterback position with Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. But I do like Tommy DeVito in one category, and yes, it is an over on rush yards. That number sitting at 11.5 against the Dallas Cowboys, and you know the Giants are absolutely going to get blasted in this game from start to finish. That's why they're double-digit underdogs. Minus 115 juice on the over 11.5 rush yards for DeVito, available there at DraftKings. Yeah, he's seen some limited action in back-to-back games, but he's hit the over in back-to-back contests against the Jets and the Raiders. Went for 12 rushing yards and 17 rushing yards. He is a guy that reads, reacts, and understands that, hey, maybe I probably shouldn't throw the football because it's going to get picked off. I'm going to tuck tail and run, and he does so fairly aggressively in games. This game is going to get lopsided. It's going to be a blowout. Dallas is going to win in convincing fashion, and DeVito is going to be on the field numerous occasions. I think it's going to be a high possession kind of game for the New York Giants, trying to play catch up. As a result, Dallas middle of the pack in pressure rate at 19.0%. So that's not all that attractive, but they've given up 29.3 rush yards per game on the ground to opposing signal callers, and 5 quarterbacks have gone over this total needed. So pull it all together. Tommy DeVito, hey, wager on me, baby, on the over 11.5 rush yards against the Dallas Cowboys in Big D, minus 115 at DraftKings. Lundy, ILL. Fade or follow.
When did Joey Votto start playing football? Because I think that's the same voice you use when we would bet on Votto.
Joey Votto, Anthony Rizzo, same voice. Yeah, it just applies.
It's kind of it's all. You don't. Let's just say this. Brad is no Mel Blanc. Okay, he kind of has like 3 voices that he can use, and that's the one that applies to anybody who sounds like they would be a character on The Sopranos. Apparently. Yes, we are going to play the over on this one, and that's if he actually makes it out of this game alive, because Micah Parsons might bury him into the turf at Jerry World. And then we will never see Mr. DeVito again, which also, by the way, sounds like a Sopranos plot line. So I'm going to go with DeVito. I'm going to play the over in this one, but God help him, because I think Dallas is going to eat him for lunch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hopefully they'll keep the condiments in the cupboard on this one. Tommy DeVito, hey, wager on me, over rush yards.
Number 3.
Numero Trace here on the Fade 5 podcast. Let's continue on the pro circuit here in the National Football League. And it's my cousin, Mike Evans. I'm going to take the over. And we've seen this total creep up. It opened at 57.5. That's when I grabbed it. If you follow my spreadsheet on the X at Noisy Huevos, you've already noticed that. But I'm still playing the over here on the pod at 60.5 yards against the Tennessee Titans, minus 115 juice there. Available at DraftKings. Look at Evans. He's averaging a robust 7.9 targets per game. He is number 6 among all NFL wide receivers in total deep ball targets with 13. That's passes beyond 20 yards. Respectable, number 17 as well. In yards per route run, and he's averaging 16.1 yards per reception. So he is the premier field stretcher, as he always has been in his really illustrious NFL career. And why I like him in this game is you could throw in Tennessee Titans, and you could particularly throw on Christian Fulton, who is the projected primary assignment for Mike Evans in this game. Fulton has allowed a 66.7 catch rate, 103.8 passer rating to his assignments this year. So a bit of a pushover DB in that secondary for the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee has allowed the 11th most wide receiver yards this season, and 10 guys in total have reached this total needed, that 61 yards. So again, my cousin Mike Evans going to do the Evans family a solid and hit the over on 60.5 receiving yards. At least I believe that's going to be the case against the Tennessee Titans, minus 115 at DraftKings. Lundy, Fade or follow.
There are going to be some familiar names here from a receiving standpoint that we're going to be betting on this weekend. There's some of the sort of marquee names we followed for, like, DeVito. I mean, we just pulled that one out of our.
Hey, I pulled it out of my rear, baby.
The problem is, anytime I hear that name, all I can picture is Danny DeVito rolling out of the couch naked. But in this particular case, Mike Evans, one of the names that we know and love very well. Yes, he does not have TB12 anymore. No, it will not matter. Love him to crush this number this weekend.
Do it for the Evans family, or do it for some Danny DeVito-inspired Jersey Mikes. I don't care. Consume whole the over. Mike Evans, receiving yards.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fade 5 countdown. Let's go with a running back that's kind of been a disappointment, but I think could regain some of that value loss, and that is Najee Harris, who could be nasty this week. Give me the over. 51.5 rush yards. That's it. Pretty low threshold there against the Green Bay Packers. A -110 juice available there at DraftKings. Look at Harris. He's only, number 25 in yards after contact per attempt. That's not a sorrowful standing, 2.91 in that category, but only averaging 12.5 rush attempts per game. He is forcing a missed tackle right around 20% of his touches. So some admirable advanced analytics that are tied to him, though they're not all that spectacular. What is dynamite is the matchup here on paper. Green Bay, just number 19 in EPA rush defense this season. They're giving up 96.3 rush yards per game to the running back position. Now, only 4 tugboats have hit the over on this, but I believe the Steelers are going to have a positive game script because the Packers are that bad. They're that putrid. Jordan Love very much on thin ice. His future there with the franchise. I think, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be in control in this game, mostly from start to finish. And as a result, Harris will get a ton of carries, maybe as many as 15 in this game. I know he's splitting some of the work with Jaylen Warren, but I think overall, he will get what is needed here in the 52 rush yards to hit the over. So to recap, Najee Harris over 51.5 rush yards against the Packers, -110 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
This feels like a TYG that I'm going to fade you on, and I have no reason to back that other than just the gut feel that he has had such a disappointing season that right when you think he's going to do something, right when you're about to fail, you go in and redeem yourself. And I don't know that this is the week that he's gonna do it. I just don't. It's just a weird gut feel for me that he's gonna fall just short of this. So as an example, if I were looking to do, I don't know that this is the game that I would pick to do an SGP on. There's a couple other player props that I probably like in this one. I'd bring this one down. I'd be okay making it a leg. I just don't like the standard line. So I'd probably pop this down to like 40 plus and then package it with something else, just because I am a little bit nervous at how he has performed all season and whether I can count on him on a standard line. And there's been a few guys like that, Brad, this season from a player prop standpoint that I've stayed away from a standard line. The only way I've played it is when I can alt line it and put it with something else.
Well, alt line it, play it individually. I don't care. Just back Najee Harris and earn some pierogies in Pittsburgh.
Number 1.
Numero uno here on the Fade 5. It is a mandatory wager. Why? It's tied to hashtag mandatory Montgomery. He's back, baby! And he's going to be just as dynamite and spectacular as he was pre-injury. Give me him for an anytime touchdown. And I could not believe, I had to do a double take, triple take, make sure all the sleep is out of my eyes. When I woke up this morning and I saw plus money attached to him to splash 6 against the LA Chargers there on the road. You can find that plus 100 available right now at Caesars Sportsbook. And I would sprint. Run as fast as you can to that book and place this wager. If you blow a hammy, belly crawl if necessary, because it's not going to probably last in plus money for much longer. Really should be like -150, maybe as high as -175. And the reason being is this. Look, I know the Chargers have allowed just 5 combined touchdowns to the running back position this season. They are bottom 10 in the NFL in EPA rush defense. And here is what is equally enticing about this is the style of play and how Dave Montgomery is being utilized. Jahmyr Gibbs is kind of the bee's knees right now. All the buzz around him. A lot of people saying, hey, his workload is only going to ramp up. And that may be the case. Maybe he gets 11 to 13 touches, but he's still going to work in some sort of synchronicity with mandatory Montgomery. Remember, the 5 games in which he was healthy, he had 26 total red zone touches, did Monty. 5 came to the goal line, and a guy, all he did was really score touchdowns, scored 6 times in those 5 games, seeing 61.2% of the opportunity share, decent yards after contact, per attempt numbers, decent missed tackle production that is out there as well. And again, given that flimsy front of the LA Chargers, whether you're viewing it through the lens of the advanced numbers or the eye test, if they are knocking at the door or the Detroit Lions, who is going to get the ball to the belly? I think it's mandatory Montgomery. He's going to score at least once there in the City of Angels, as I believe, too, Detroit is going to coast to a nice little victory on the road. So, David Montgomery, it's mandatory at Jack Wagons. Anytime touchdown against the Chargers, plus 100 at Caesars Sportsbook. My number 1 play of NFL week number 10, Lundy. Fade or follow.
When you get too riled up about David is when he fails, Brad. So calm down, okay? I know.
So you're fading me is what you're trying to tell me.
No, actually, I'm taking it because of the plus odds. I would have expected this if I had, rolled out of bed, hadn't had enough coffee, right? The wife's telling me, like, I want to sleep, get the hell out of here, that kind of thing, which is really just kind of par for the course for me. I would have expected this. I would have predicted this at minus 120. That's what I would have predicted it to be at. So if you're pulling an extra 20 cents on the odds, I would absolutely play this because of the plus odds. And sometimes that's what you want to do on these bets. Look for the discrepancies when you see one. We do the same thing with yardage. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who the hell we were talking about. Might have been CeeDee Lamb. Somebody where it was like, okay, book 56. And then all of a sudden you see a 52. Well, sometimes you want to bet that just because you're looking at a discrepancy of nearly 10%. So you might as well jump on that when you have the opportunity. I think that's what we're seeing here with Montgomery. So I'm with you. Even though the Chargers have not done this in terms of dudes coming out of the backfield and scoring touchdowns against them, this is a different kind of matchup, and I like the idea of Montgomery splashing 6 on this one. By the way, if you wanted to, like, I don't know, quarter unit, you want it maybe a quarter unit. It's plus 370 for him to score twice.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that that's not worth, like I said, maybe a tenth of a unit, a quarter unit, something like that, just in case it's just one of those games that gets Brad all aroused.
Yeah, definitely. No pants required when it comes to Dave Montgomery being back in the lineup. It's wonderful. It's glorious. I've been waiting so long. He's going to do an end zone jig, I believe, in Los Angeles. And right now we got some smooth moves. Additionally, it's bonus time. Lundy, again, the smorgasbord of sports betting is very much in play. NBA, NHL, college hoops, the NFL, college football. Lot to choose from, my man. What do you got for me, whether Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
Well, I gave you the Friday play in college football for you already in terms of the combined. I want to go back and tell you, I like the over on the standard line in both games, so you could play those individually if you wanted to. I went with the alt lines because it got me into plus territory by popping it down by 5 yards, so I want to throw that out there. Let's go to the ice as we have been. It is time to play the gift, folks. We always do this on the goal in the first 10. I try to find you one every day if I can. Just because of the matchups and things like that. No one, and I would like to repeat, no one in the National Hockey League has more goals in the first 10 minutes than the Minnesota Wild, and they are in action against Buffalo, who, oh, by the way, is also known for doing it. So we are going to take advantage of Minnesota and Buffalo for a goal in the first 10. We are going to pair that up with Philly and Anaheim on the late night tip from Cali. Put those two together over at DraftKings, which is usually where I do it because it's the best spot that I have found in terms of the juice on these. A lot of the other books juice these to high heaven. DraftKings at least makes it so that you get a decent number by the time you pair them together in a two-legger, plus 144. Again, the Wild and the Sabres combined with the Flyers and the Ducks tonight on a goal in the first 10, plus 144 on that one. I'll have a couple more hockey plays coming up for you. I'm waiting to see who the starting goaltender is going to be in a couple of the contests, but there's a half a dozen games on the schedule tonight, so I will have some more plays for you. Watch out for those on the spreadsheet. I know this seems like a no-brainer, but I've got to go and figure out which book it was. So check the spreadsheet and I'll have it for you. Somebody's got Austin Matthews at plus odds for a goal tonight. I got to go find it. I saw it when I was scrolling through this morning and I forgot to write it down. But I mean, come on, folks. It's Austin Matthews. He's at home and he's taking on Calgary. So I'm gonna jump on that one if I can. I just need to find it because I swear I saw somebody had it at like plus 105, which is just absurd for Austin Matthews, in my opinion. Brad, I told you were talking about Mike Evans as being a guy that you wanted to be able to bet on from a receiver standpoint, and I said that there were some names that are familiar that I'm going to be throwing bets on. I am all about DK Metcalf this weekend at home against the Commanders. Part of it is because of the matchup against the Commanders. Okay, the Commanders give up the deep ball; they just do. Okay, it's what happens to them, and I think that Seattle can get it done with DK Metcalf. This is the TYG in me. I think this dude is due for one of those games where he just goes all DK Metcalf on somebody. It's an HD bet. He's due. So let me give you this. I will play the over on 64.5 receiving yards against the Commanders at DraftKings, standard juice at a minus 110. But I'm going to also do this. It is even money plus 100 for you to just say he's going to have 70 or more. I think he does that. It's plus 155 at 80 or more. So I'm going to escalate this thing. I'm going to do a full unit bet on the standard line at 64.5, and then I'm going to sprinkle in at 70 as well as at 80 at the plus odds. And part of it is because I love the over on his longest reception of 23.5, which is standard juice at minus 115. If memory serves, the last time I was checking the numbers, I think he's done this 9 times so far this season. And now you're at home taking on a Commanders team that gives up the deep ball. So put all of that together, and I think this is one of those DK Metcalf games. So I liked his standard line, and I liked the longest reception, which is why I like the escalator idea at 70 and at 80. If you want to get crazy with the Cheese Whiz, he's plus 330 to get to the century mark. I don't know that I'll go that high, but I do think the 70 and the 80 on Metcalf are worth playing on Sunday. Beyond that, let's see. Who else do I really like? I like DeAndre Hopkins. Give me the over give me the over on his longest reception. Let me find my notes. Last time I looked, 22.5 is where I snagged that one. Play the over on that one as well. Yes, I know that we are looking at a rather not very tasty, kind of like olive tapenade. I'm not really, but I like this tapenade. But I do like the over on his longest reception at 22.5. I think you're just going to see Levis continue to force feed him the ball. So a couple of longest reception props that I like there. I'll have more for the spreadsheet for you coming up. It's kind of a funky Friday. I know you've got some college basketball that you like. So let me throw this out because I haven't made this bet yet, Brad, but I'm leaning this direction. We got the Dukies and zone
Arizona.
Tonight, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of liking the under, which the last time I saw was at 150, I think 155, 154. How are you feeling about the under between those two?
I think that's a great call, quite honestly. I think everybody expects this game to be high scoring. They each have a game under the belt, and they really lit up the scoreboard. It's going to be a faster pace. But Duke, interestingly, in terms of adjusting tempo, they were extraordinarily slow in their first game. I think the Dukies are going to try to grind this out more in a half-court setting because Arizona prefers transition basketball. This game's going to be in the 70s. I don't think any team is going to escape 80. So, I think it's a good call on the under.
Fantastic. That's how I like to end my portion. No, I saw the total and I was like, I think I like the under here.
Yeah, that's a good call.
The idea. Hang on one second. I'm scrolling. There's so many effing games tonight that I'm trying to find it in the good God. Where the hell? I'm going to find the actual total because I swear it was like 154, 155. I wanted to be able to actually give people the number, but you're comfortable at either one of those, right? At playing the under?
Yep, exactly. Go with
Okay,
Arizona
here it is.
all day. There it
Here
is.
it is.
What do you got?
At DraftKings, it's a flat 155. So you leave yourself open to the push, but it's sitting right at a 155. All right. That was the only other one that I wanted to throw out there, but I actually just wanted to get your opinion on it because, like I said, I don't pay attention to the early college basketball the way you do. So I was feeling that one just a little bit, but I didn't want to do that. And by the way, I know, folks, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you see the Oregon State logo on my chest. The spread is 21. They should pound Stanford, but I ain't touching that one. I'm leaving the 21 alone. So yeah, don't ask me anything about Oregon State, even though I'm wearing the colors and I'm drinking out of the coffee mug this morning. I yield the floor to the gentleman from Illinois.
I also like the Beavs of the Hardwood to kick it off their season against
Against
Troy.
Troy, right?
Yep, -7.5. So a little extra Oregon State action there. All right, let's zip through various picks here. The Team Huevos parlay play of the day. A little three-legger, that being in the San Francisco and Jacksonville game. Give me Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. Give me Travis Etienne, 50 or more rush yards. And give me Christian Kirk, 45 or more receiving yards. A cool +200 available there at BetMGM. McCaffrey scored every single game this year. I know the Jags only give a couple of touchdowns to running back position, but he will splash 6 yet again. Etienne, I think, is going to take advantage of San Francisco, a team, coming off the bye, but still really searching for their defensive identity. They're number 26 in EPA rush defense, and Etienne has been just outstanding this season. RB 31 yards after contact per 10, forced a missed tackle 21.9% of the time. I think he's easily going to get to 50 rush yards in this game. And then give me Christian Kirk. It's all about the matchup out the slot against Isaiah Oliver of San Francisco, who's given up a 109.5 passer rating and over an 87% catch rate to his assignment. So slot coverage has been a weakness for San Fran this year, and I think Christian Kirk will take advantage of that. So to recap, CMC touchdown, ETN 50 more rush yards, Christian Kirk 45 or more receiving yards, +200 available there at BetMGM. But wait, there's more parlay action. Of course, a heavy slate of college basketball. You demand a parlay on a Friday night in that sport on this three-legger. Give me Arizona, the alt line, +10. They're going to keep this one fairly close with the Duke Blue Devils. Again, they scored an absurd 1.56 points per possession in their opener against Morgan State. They had 8 players score double figures. Bigger test, obviously, here against Duke on the road at Cameron Indoor, but Arizona will keep this within 10. Give me Texas A&M +7. They're going to the Ohio State and Columbus. I think A&M is a dark horse Final Four team. They have an outstanding backcourt with Taylor and Radford. They were top 23 in offensive and defensive efficiency last year. I think they're going to be in that same vicinity this season. In their opener, they netted 39.3% from way downtown, and Ohio State barely squeaked by the Golden Grizzlies of Oakland, winning 79-73, and they gave up 40% along the arc. If they don't go out and stick their arms up and defend along the perimeter, they could get smoked at home. And again, on alt line, I'm getting 7. So +7 on Texas A&M. And they give me Akron. They knocked off South Dakota State on the road. Remember, I was on the Fighting Jackrabbits. Didn't really show up in that game. They're at home. I think they're going to win on the money line. I forgot who they're playing, but it really doesn't matter. Akron, the Zips will rock and roll. So to recap on that three-legger, Arizona +10 the alt market, Texas A&M +7 in the alt market, and Akron on the standard money line. I think they're favored by 9.5, something like that. +125 juice there available at DraftKings. Elsewhere in the NFL, couple of player props that I really like this week. You're on DK Metcalf. I like Tyler Lockett. I'm going to take the over on his receiving yards at 58.5. Why is going to get a lot of Ben St. Juste in coverage, who's given up a 67.2 catch percentage and the 6th most yards in the league. That's what he's allowed to his assignments, along with a 97.6 passer rating. 11 guys have gone over the 58.5 against Washington this year. They've given up the 2nd most wide receiver yards. I know Lockett is a bit of a roller coaster ride, but he has been over this 4 times this season. It could be a big game for him in this matchup between Seattle and the Washington Commanders. Elsewhere in the National Football League, Josh Dobbs, whatever the rush yards prop opens at, just grab it. on the over. I don't have a number because it's not available at any of the books at tape time. He's taking on the New Orleans Saints. They're only number 26 in pressure percentage, but they are number 13 of the Saints in hurry percentage. Dobbs is still learning the offense. I know he is whip smart, incredibly brilliant guy, aeronautical engineering major at Tennessee. He just learned the cadences right before the game last week as he was thrust into action after Jaron Hall got hurt, and he was run all over the damn place. He's going to continue to run. And Lundy, you're giving me the Matumbo finger because you believe in Dobbs, don't you?
No, it's posted 28.5.
Oh, over, way over. Hell yes.
It's up at DraftKings right now. 28.5 standard juice on a prop minus 115.
That's crazy. New Orleans giving up 27 rush yards per game to opposing quarterbacks, 31 rush yards they have given up to quarterbacks 5 times. I think Dobbs is going to coast past this. It's going to be 30 plus for him. So grab that number right now if you're listening.
I agree, but I just wanted to let you know in case folks were wondering. It just posted within like the last hour.
Oh, that's outstanding. And one last play in the National Football League. Give me Jonnu Smith over 27.5 receiving yards against the Arizona Cardinals. You look at Arizona, they have allowed the 9th fewest yards to tight ends, but dude's been getting a lot of work, even more so than Kyle Pitts within this offensive scheme. He's averaging 4.5 targets per game, running 23.3 routes per game, 12.4 yards per catch, number 2 with yards per target among tight ends. I think it's 30 plus for him with Taylor Heinicke twirling the pigskin in his general direction. One college football selection for you that I like. Take Nebraska on the money line. I think they're going to win straight up against Maryland. Maryland's skidding right now. They lost 4 straight games. Nebraska top 30 EPA per play defense, and they're at home, and they're getting plus money to win. Motto, they're going to do it. I think they'll get that victory and become bowl eligible. They're only 1 game away from achieving that under Matt Rule. And then Jabari Smith, last I checked, there was no odds out available for a double-double. I like him tonight to achieve exactly that against the Pels. New Orleans has given up the most opponent rebounds per game, over 50 to be exact. Smith's only done this 1 time in 6 games. It's going to be available, probably significant plus money. I think it could be like 20 and 10 for him tonight on the NBA hardwood. I'm out of breath. We are out of time. Do us a favor here, and if you enjoy this podcast, drop us a rating and a review and give us some thumbs up there on YouTube. Also, feed and follow us on the X/the Twitter. Check out Lundy and all his free picks on his spreadsheet at Nate Lundy. I have a shit ton more action, especially in college basketball and the NFL. You can check out all my selections. If I post it, yes, I have my hard-earned money behind it on that spreadsheet available at Noisy Huevos. For the Oregon State enthusiast, Nathaniel Lundy, I'm Brad Evans, ILL. Hopefully Illinois is going to beat Indiana on Saturday. Hopefully they'll beat Oakland on the hardwood tonight. And hopefully, hey, it's me, it's Tommy DeVito gets over on the rush yards. Until next time, as always, feed or follow. That is up to you.